While roaming the beautiful forests and peaks of Mount Kailash, Raja Dashagriv and his men came to a point where their Viman or their mode of transport could go no further. Then Nandi appeared and said this was the playground or the Krida Sthal of Bhagwan Shankar, and no one was allowed inside. Enraged, Dashagriv didn't just insult Nandi, he also tried to lift Mount Kailash and take it back to his home. Lord Shankar, who was watching this, playfully pressed his toe a little harder into the ground, the weight of which crushed Dashagriv's arms, who let out a roar so loud that it frightened the living beings in all three worlds. Despite trying for many days, Dashagriv could not get his arms free. That was when a few wise ministers suggested to him that he appeal to Lord Shankar. The egoistic king was so desperate that he started singing praises of Bhagwan Shankar, or Shiv as we also know him, and this went on until his ego was humbled. Lord Shankar, who is ever compassionate, lifted his little toe and he renamed Dashagriv as Ravan because his Rav, his scream was so loud that it frightened all words. But we know that Ravan's humility was short lived and it was specific to Shiv because his tyrannical behavior towards other entities only got worse with time. And we all know how he met his end. We see such kind of behavior even today. A few people will conduct God pleasing rituals every day, but will treat living beings poorly. Others will use sycophancy to get into the good books of leaders who are growing in power. Yet others will binge on romantic movies and books, but they can't hold on to a relationship for even 1 week. Such people don't love the other for love's sake. They love an ideal, which is riches or fame or romance, and they crave it from others. And when they don't get it, they feel miserable. Jiddu Krishnamurti said, to love an ideal, a master, a god, a state is easier. They can be created in our image according to our hopes, fears, illusions. It is more convenient to have an ideal, a far off image to love, for between that and ourselves, there can be no unpleasant personal rejection which causes sorrow in human relationships. Such love is not love, but an intellectual creation called love. End quote. If wanting more things creates misery, then what creates happiness? Love. The kind where we open ourselves up to the other, where we see them for who they are, and in the process of loving them, we subsume our ego. That is what bhakti or devotion is, where in loving our work or in loving others, we lose track of who we are. Such love keeps bringing out the best in us and keeps making us better. And it's this improvement that brings true happiness. Don't fall in love with your ideas of God or people, and don't impose them on others either. See the world for what it is, try to figure out the circumstances that made it like that, and be compassionate in trying to alleviate some of the suffering that's out there. Atheistic people who are more compassionate towards their surrounding are far better than these so called God fearing people who exploit their own surroundings. What do you think are certain ideals that we should let go of and certain principles that we should embrace? Drop a comment. I would love to hear from you and have a discussion on it. And until next time, namaste.